What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Tully Television, and today we're going to be doing an episode that I thought we had previously uploaded, but somehow, some way, it either never got uploaded or YouTube somehow took it down without really notifying me that they took it down. So, this is going to be a redo of What If Episode 2. What if T'Challa was Starlord? And hopefully, with me doing the season finale the other day and uploading that, and with this one, we'll have the whole What If season done for season one, and then we're going to be concentrating on the Book of Boba Fett uh, series that's going on currently, and I'm going to start doing some Hawkeye videos to catch up on those as well. But before we get into all that, I want to thank everyone for liking, subscribing, hitting all on that bell notification, commenting. It all really helps us out here at Tully Television. I want to be able to grow our community up to the heights that I know that we can bring this channel up to. Uh, but but without further ado, let's get into What If Episode 2. What if T'Challa became Star Lord? And I'm just going to go through some of the pedigree information I usually do. Directed by Brian Andrews, written by Matthew Chauncey. We have Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher. We have Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa slash Starlord. Now, for this, he did 4 episodes of T'Challa for the What If series, and those were his last batch of work for Marvel before he had unfortunately passed away. This was the first one of them. Karen Gillian as Nebula, Michael Roker as Yondu, Benicio del Toro as the Collector, Kurt Russell as Ego, Josh Brolin as Thanos, John Canny as Cheshaka, Digimon Housu as Karath, Sean Gunn as Kraglin, Daniel Guerrero as Okeo, Carrie Coon is Proxima Midnight. Seth Green is Howard the Duck. Chris Sullivan is Taserface. Taserface. We have Tom Van Lawler as Ebony Maw. Ophelia Lovey Bond as Carinia. Fred Task Corey as Drax and Corvus Glaive. Maddox Robinson as Young T'Challa. And Brian T. Delancey as Peter Quill. Um, this centers around a young T'Challa growing up in Wakanda as his father tries to teach him lessons here and there about becoming the king or the future king of Wakanda. T'Challa's problem at the time is that he's very interested in exploring the outside of Wakanda to learn about the world as much as possible. But his father and the Wakandans at this time were very much against the outside world getting involved in the Wakandan affairs due to the uh, vibranium that they have there because they have such an overabundance. It's worth billions and billions, if not trillions of dollars. And not that they don't want the rest of the world to be technologically sound like they are, they still have the capacity to not let this material overtake their lives like the way some of the other countries of the world would do. Um, but you know how young minds are, especially explorer spirits. You're always looking up to the sky, you're always looking up to the horizon, wondering about what's coming next. Uh, One night we see T'Challa playing basically And he's like throwing a spear and running after it, and getting it and throwing it again, and kind of what's playing a game to himself, so to speak. And the spear winds up going outside of the barrier, the force field, and he winds up going out to get the spear, and that's when we see Taserface and Kraglin capture him and bring him to Yondu. And Yondu is like, "Who is this kid? This is not the kid we're sent to get." And of course, the joke is, they all look alike to me. Humans all look alike to me, and that joke kind of started off. Um, uh, uh, it just started off on the wrong pace for me. That joke because um, it, to ignore people's differences is stupid. That's what makes people people, and you can learn from each other. There's no way that 10-year-old Peter Quill and 10-year-old T'Challa look alike. Um, they couldn't be further apart looks wise if you purposely tried, and that's why I think that the joke fell flat and was kind of stupid. But whatever the case may be, um, the reason why they decided to get him instead of Star Lord was that T'Challa was near an area where uh, it was highly functioning technology, and they were thinking that he was the reason behind it, being he was supposed to be the half celestial that Peter Quill was. Um, but again, that's not the case. But Yondu wound up saying, son, what are you doing out this late anyway? And he's like, I'm trying to explore the world. And Yondu was like, well, why explore one world when you can explore many? And so he stays with them, and they take off. And then we jump to where we would have met Peter Quill, Star Lord in the movies. This time it's the Charlotte Star Lord trying to take the egg, the stone that Peter was after in Guardians of the Galaxy. And we have his name, Korath, uh, basically cornering him like he did Peter Quill, but he winds up fanboying out for this version of Star Lord. He's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you. You're a legend." And um, what's gonna happen? Do I have to pick my gun up and shoot you now, and then you're gonna knock me out? And da da da. And it's like, dude, you're getting awfully excited about getting your ass kicked. You know what I mean? Um, I'm gonna try to think of someone that I would be starstruck by. Um, I can't think of anyone that Mike Tyson. I would be starstruck to meet Mike Tyson. Okay, but I'm not gonna want Mike Tyson to beat me up either. You know what I mean? I have a little bit of sense somewhere in this head. But whatever the case may be, he wound up asking to join the team, and he T'Challa allows it after Yondu comes and helps T'Challa and him get out of the um, group of men that are trying to surround them, and he uses his, whistle arrow. And then we wind up going to this space bar, so to speak, where Drax is bartending. Um, for some reason, Batista didn't come back for this, or he wasn't asked to come back for this. Whatever the reason was, it's a different voice actor, different person playing Drax in this. We see Nebula looking very different with a blonde set of hair. She's running the place, looking very ooh la la compared to how they present her in the movies, which I still find her look to be a very unique look in the movies. Nebula is one of my favorite MCU characters. That aren't like considered main characters, or people might say Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man first over Nebula, and that's fine. But I liked how Nebula was handled in the movies. Um, we also see Thanos, and he's a good guy now. And apparently, all it took was for T'Challa to talk him out of it, and they should have added that into the series, into the show, to show how quick-witted he is and how smart he is. That he was able to convince a genocidal um, guy that his ideas were wrong, to totally stop what he was doing. They should have definitely added that, and I'm a little disappointed that they didn't do that. So it's already a couple stumbling blocks for me for this episode. Um, Running gag is that everyone says, "Well, that's genocide," and Thanos is like, "It's not genocide because it's balanced," you know. And it's like, yeah, I guess it's still kind of genocide, bro. You still count out millions and billions of people, but whatever the case may be, he's a good guy now. And there's this thing that Nebula wants to do, this plan, where it's to steal the seeds of Genesis from the Collector, because the Collector is now a higher up criminal, being that Thanos wasn't around to take that role. And this seed of Genesis will help, even the smallest portion, will help plants vegetation to grow, trees, bushes, these sorts of things to help build oxygen in the air and make the people of the planet be able to eat their fruits and vegetables in a way. Um, Supposed to turn an otherwise desolate planet into a lush, um, burgeoning of life type of planet. And the collector has it. He's using it to want to make money off of it. Nebula wants to try to use it to help people, and she knows T'Challa would try to help because he's a chill dude, man. He wants people to eat and shit like that. You know what I mean? So they go to the collector's base of operations in the head of nowhere, the dead celestial. Uh, just the celestial's head floating in space, and that's where the collector makes his base of operations. When we get there, we see a bunch of different things he's collected. We see Captain America's shield in the background. We see Thor's hammer in the background. We see a bunch of different Easter eggs. Um, even I forget his name right now, but the astronaut dog that is part of Marvel. Um, Even Howard the Duck had a little part in there. We see some species of different species of people, human beings, in various pods too. And as basically, it's going to be like an Ocean's 11 thing. Everyone has their little part to play in the grander scheme of things. And as the child goes to try to take the Genesis seeds. Now, in his quest, he comes across Howard the Duck, releases Howard the Duck, and Howard was going to help him, but then when they got to a bar within the place, he decided to just stay and get drunk. And so, very, uh, very much useless in the story, but entertaining at the same time. And he said something about there's a phrase that says if you go black, you don't ever go back. Let me know if that's true down below. But he said something about when you're out of luck, everyone goes duck or something like that. And it's kind of like, geez, man, these jokes were lame this episode. They were lame ass jokes. So he just decides to stay at the bar and get drunk. Um, in the process of the episode, Nebula had asked T'Challa, "Did you ever want to go back to Wakanda or where you came from to see how it is?" And he was told by Yandu that Yandu went to go see and that everything was destroyed except for this necklace that he now wears. And he got it, and you know, that was the last piece of his people. That's what he was told. Um, by the way, I'd like to know how he was called Starlord because Peter Quill's mother gave Peter that nickname. So how would he be called Starlord? T'Challa be called Starlord if it was Peter's mother that gave him the name of Starlord to Peter, not to T'Challa. So I'd like to know the explanation of that. If you know, let me know down below. But as I'm only bringing that up now because as he's exploring nowhere, he comes across a Wakanda ship. And there's a message that he was able to come across of his father saying, uh, you know, this is to find my son T'Challa, and I'm gonna explore all the possibilities I can to find him and bring him home. And he realizes that his home was not destroyed, so he has a lot to discuss with Yondu when they meet, and only to come across the fact that now Nebula has double crossed them to get them all captured and make it look like to the collector that she's on his side, only for her to double cross the collector once the seeds of Genesis were revealed on the location of where they are. And they were able to take they were able to take that and defeat the collector. And before they left, they released everybody that the collector had captured and left him to his own devices as they flew away, and all these people that he had captured start swarming in on him. And you reap what you sow in a way, So they finally make, as they're captured, though, he confronts Yondu about, why did you tell me that, basically Wakanda was destroyed? And Yondu was honest enough, and he was like, well, it's because I've grown to love you, and I didn't want to lose you. Um, and so I was like, you're never going to lose me. We're family, but if I have more family out there, I'd like to know them now. So they wind up going back to Wakanda, and they have this big celebration. Once T'Challa explains everything to his father and family, the people of Wakanda rejoice. Um, this version of the Guardians of the Galaxy rejoice and have fun. It's kind of interesting to see Thanos in Wakanda explaining, like, no, it's not genocide. It's at random half the people. And okay, it was like, that's genocide, man. However you chop it up. Um, and happily ever after. The episode ends on a high note. Um, again, some of the jokes and some of the plot points are a little um, iffy for me. This unfortunately was the lowest rated What If episode for me. I'm going to rate this a 6 out of 10. And it's unfortunate because I felt like they wasted a great performance that Chadwick Boseman could have had. He still had a great performance. He's a wonderful actor, but um, especially knowing now that we can't get much more with him or at all, it was a wasted episode and an unfortunate misstep in the season. I'm gonna rate this episode, like I said, a 6 out of 10. The acting was great. The animation was okay. Again, it wasn't big on the animation, but the writing was a little. The writing is what killed it for me in this episode. Um, but those are my thoughts about What If Episode 2. I want to thank again everyone for stopping by, liking, commenting, and sharing. Let's keep growing our community, baby. We're going to go straight to the moon, baby. But until next time, peace, Snookums.